again, everybody. Real quick before we get started, number one, I know this is usually a day late. I usually upload on Wednesday. I apologize for that. Did not really have the time to do anything at all yesterday. Chromebook was dead half the day, so I was like, oh, there goes my recording resource. But number, I just want to get two things straight real quick, and they're not sports related, but they all come into the same thing here. I just wanted to say, number one, first and foremost, I'm so blessed, and I thank God every day that I get to do this. God is so great, man. He gives me energy, and he's just there. He's there for everybody, and he's blessed me where I get to sit down and talk about my favorite sports teams every day, whether it's the Georgia Bulldogs, Atlanta Falcons, Detroit Lions, Atlanta Hawks. We don't even have any of that if it's not for God. So I just wanted to say that real quick. Thank you, God, and Jesus, very, very much for giving me a platform to be able to talk my favorite thing on. Number two, September 11th today, so we remember the tragic lives that were lost. What would it be, 24 years ago on this day. Very, very, very horrible event. There's people who still suffer the effects from it. So we remember the events of 9/11 today as well. So okay, with all that out of the way, let's talk about something a little more positive, shall we? Georgia. What was not positive was Georgia's performance Saturday versus Austin Peay Governors. Real quick before we get to Georgia football, though, Georgia baseball has just released. Okay. I know where we'll start. Okay, we're going to start with Georgia baseball releasing their schedule or their conference slate, and then we have to go discuss some other topics as well. I thought the baseball schedule would be front headline news. I guess not. Okay, so let's go to sports. Baseball. SEC baseball schedule announced. This is from GeorgiaDolls.com. The Georgia Bulldogs will open their Southeastern Conference portion of 2026 baseball schedule with Tennessee at Foley Field. The Bulldogs will begin the 30-game conference schedule March 13th through 15th against the Tennessee Volunteers. Georgia's other four home series. Georgia's other four games, SEC games, will be against South Carolina on March 27th through 29th, Florida April 10th through 12th, Missouri May 1st through 3rd, and LSU 8th through 10th. The five SEC road series will be against Texas A&M March 20th to 22nd, Mississippi State April 2nd to 4th, Arkansas April 17th to 19th, Ole Miss April 24th through 26th, and Auburn May 14th through 16th. So just going to get baseball out of the way real quick. The last time Georgia and Mississippi State played at Mississippi State was crazy. That was the series where Georgia lost it on I believe that was a Thursday. That was a Friday. It was a Friday Saturday. It was a Friday Sunday series. Georgia lost the game on Georgia lost the game on Friday, and then Saturday was the game that the Mississippi State player mugged the Georgia player while he was down. It resulted in chaos, and Mississippi State won it later in the game. Okay, anyway, the chaos happened on Saturday. Mississippi State won. Then the Sunday game, they won too. So Georgia had some unfinished business in Starkville. That must have been Wes Johnson. That was 2024. So I think that was his first year. It was either Scott Strickland's last year or Wes Johnson's first year. I don't remember right now. I think it was in 2024. So all baseball aside, I get to play Arkansas, Florida, end his regular season with Auburn. Play Tennessee. That'll be really, really good. Now let's get to football. We're going to talk Falcons and Dogs, but I want to start Saturday because that's what Georgia, Saturday versus Austin Peay. And my hope for that game is Georgia was playing vanilla. I mean, Georgia looked bad. If Georgia was playing a good team, there's arguably a chance we don't win that game. And you know, Austin Peay had a lot coming on because they just beat Middle Tennessee State for the first time ever, an FBS opponent for the first time like in 40 years. So, but when you woke up and you were like, well, okay, Georgia's pretty much going to roll this game to the game. Number one, the game gets delayed or pushed up because of weather. And I was in the grocery store. I was in Walmart. And I was like, I didn't know till we got home that the game had been pushed up to 2:30. And after the game gets pushed up at halftime, there's a delay. And that drive at the end of halftime just pissed me off so bad. I mean, you have 8 chances to get to the end zone at the 1 yard line, and you can't get in over Austin Peay, my ad. That was an FCS opponent who stopped you. The fact that you got stopped by an FCS opponent at the 1 yard line makes me wonder about what's going to happen at the 1 yard line against Tennessee or Alabama or Texas. So that's out the way. Georgia went up halftime, I think 14-3, and then scored a touchdown on the first drive of the second half. Then after that, they went on an 8 and a 9 minute, 10-minute drive in the fourth quarter. And that's why I wasn't mad at Mike Bobo, because that drive was peak Georgia football, and they stuck it in there, and they scored. It's 28-3 or 28 to. I think the final score was 28-6. Yeah. So I mean, great drive by Georgia to end the half. But I mean, now it's time we have to have a conversation. This is going to be Gunnar Stockton's first SEC road start. Is it time to, is it going to be like Jake Fromm against Notre Dame in 2017 where he's just going to ball out? Or, excuse me here, let me get a glass, let me get something of water. Or is it going to be a game that he throws 7 picks and Tennessee walks off and wins 41-0? I don't know it, and the motion in the fan base is Georgia's just not going to have a chance to win Saturday, excuse me. And I have no idea where that came from, because if you're thinking about Tennessee, okay, here's some facts for you. Georgia's not lost to Tennessee since 2016. It took a last-second Hail Mary. So, yeah, last-second Hail Mary in 2016. They've not beaten Georgia in Knoxville since 2015. That took a Georgia collapse pretty much. Georgia was up at one point, I think, 20-0. And then Tennessee scored a touchdown. Then Georgia fumbled the kickoff, and Tennessee ran it back for a touchdown. That was the Leonard Floyd game. Leonard Floyd had a fumble return that Tennessee had at the 1 yard line. Stuck it in the middle. The ball popped out. Tennessee kept it and got it, and then ran to the back of the end zone for a touchdown. So I mean, yeah. So I mean, you think about it. Georgia has, and there's more positives, is that Tennessee's offense never shows up when they play Georgia. That's number one. Number two, Josh Heupel has put, I think I read that most he's put against Georgia would be 17 points. And that's about right. I mean, and they haven't threw a touchdown against Georgia since 2021. So, I mean, everything's on Georgia's side at the moment. There's nothing that says Georgia won't win this game. Back to that in a moment. Let's get to Sunday. Let's get to last Sunday, Atlanta versus Tampa Bay to open up the season. And, man, if you're the Falcons fan, the game started so good. The Falcons literally score within a minute of having the ball. I mean, Michael Penix throws a pass to Bijan Robinson, and Robinson cuts up field to the sidelines, and then after that, he's gone. It started so good for the Falcons. Then the offense pretty much doesn't do anything. The People were blaming the Falcons defense on that game Sunday, and y'all were wrong. The Falcons defense did everything in their power to keep Tampa Bay out the end zone. I'm just looking at social media real quick. Okay, but yeah, what I was saying, they went down the field and then just played great, or the defense played great. There's two things that cost Atlanta that game Sunday, and as a football fan, it genuinely pisses me off. Number one, the number one thing that cost the Falcons that game Sunday was Katero Hodge in the end zone. He gets kind of hit and clipped, but the ball was still catchable. He gives up on it. And then lastly, number one, that would have been a touchdown, by the way. That would have won the Falcons the game unless Tampa Bay went down the field in 30-something seconds. Number two, and this is going to be dominated. This has dominated everything this week. Young Waku misses a field goal. Remember, earlier in the game, he had almost missed the field goal that freaking hit the upright and somehow went in. So, I love Koo. He's been a great player for the Falcons. But it's time. Something's got to change, because we used to be able to rely on Koo and say, if he misses a kick, he's won you more games. He's won you games. So it's okay. It's not okay now, because now he's lost you games. I think he missed 3 against New Orleans last year at New Orleans. That would have won the game for the Falcons. He missed one Sunday. He missed one a few years ago against Kansas City. So, I mean, I get saying that Koo's won you more games than he lost. At this point, he's almost lost you just as much as he won. And we're trying to make the playoffs for the first time since 2017. We can't be doing that. And I don't know what it is that the Falcons start 0-1. It seems the Falcons start 0-1 every year. The Falcons are going to have their backs against the wall, because next week in just a few days, they play Minnesota on Sunday Night Football. Minnesota looked really good in their first game. Minnesota, I actually don't know if they won or not. Let me see. I believe they did. Yeah, 27-24. They beat the Bears on the J.J. McCarthy and Justin Jefferson. So, yeah, I mean, they look good. They're 1-0 at least. I think last year was the chance. Last year, for the first 6 or 7 weeks of the season, I really thought the Falcons were one of the best teams in the NFL. I really did. They beat Philadelphia. They played Kansas City close. And they beat New Orleans, Tampa Bay, and Carolina. Pretty much everything after that New Orleans game changed. So, and Atlanta's got to find a way to pull it out Sunday. If they don't, they're going to be 0-2. And then you have to start the conversation of how are you getting back from 0-2? How are you going to get to the playoffs at 0-2? But, I mean, Michael Penix looked great. He really did. I haven't seen a Falcons quarterback like him in a minute. I mean, our fan base criticized everything Matt Ryan did. Man, it feels good to actually have a great quarterback again. I really loved Marcus Mariota. But at the end of the day, he was not a great NFL quarterback. He was a really great college quarterback. Won the Heisman Trophy at Oregon in 2014. They somehow lost to Braxton Miller, a first-string quarterback at Ohio State in the national championship game. People forget that. I really liked, and I wanted Mariota to do good, but that just didn't end well. Desmond Ritter, you remember he played Cincinnati against Georgia in the 2021 Peach Bowl. I thought he looked good. He didn't pan out at all. Kirk Cousins, we know that situation. He plays good for the first few weeks, gets hurt, doesn't tell anybody, pretty much costs the Falcons the rest of their season. And now Michael Penix, and Penix looks really good. I mean, Penix looked like Michael Vick out there. You remember that play Michael Vick had against the Panthers when he stretched across the goal line? Michael Penix did that Sunday against Tampa Bay. So your hope for the Falcons is that they can pull off an upset Sunday, because it really would be an upset if the Falcons win. Remember, I think that game might be in Atlanta, because I thought they played Minnesota in Minnesota last year. Let me look. I did not look. That might be a Sunday night game for the Falcons. And it is not. Yeah, it's not. It's at US Bank Stadium. So the Falcons will go there for the second straight year. So you pretty much have to hope that the Falcons can pull an upset. But that's the little Falcons preview there. I got to add the Falcons into, because obviously I love the Falcons. Back to Georgia. People are talking about Tennessee's offense, and like I just said a little while ago, they've never shot up against Georgia, but they're averaging somewhere between, I think I read, 56 points a game so far, which is absolutely horrendous in a good way. That's scary. I mean, to average 20 points a game or 50 points a game is crazy. I don't necessarily know what Georgia's average will be right now, because they scored 28 against Austin Peay, but they scored 45 against Marshall. I really don't know what the average for Georgia would be, but you know, I want Nate Frazier to have a good day Saturday. I said this online. I hope Georgia runs the ball in every play and gets the clock down to like 10 minutes per drive. I kind of like the drive they had at the end of the Austin Peay game. Just wind it down and have a drive that's like 10 minutes long every time, so eventually Tennessee can't get the ball. Old school Georgia football. You know, that would be funny. But in reality, I don't see that happening. You got to throw the ball to win these days. So you have to have an offense to win these days. You have to throw the ball. You pretty much have to score 30 to 40 points a game. Because I always think back to teams like Georgia Southern back when they ran the triple option, and they would put 30, 40 points up a game when Paul Johnson was there. And I asked somebody this. Alabama won 73-0. Tennessee scored 60-something points, I think. My question is, why has Georgia never done that? Like, even under Mark Reed, they did one time under Ray Goff, I think. It was against Cal Fullerton. I think they won like 70-6 or something like that. But they never did under Jim Donnan. They never did under Mark Reed. They never did under. They don't do it under Kirby for some reason. I wonder why Georgia never scores 60 to 70 points a game. The most I can recall under Kirby Smart era is probably 50 against LSU in 2022 in the SEC championship game. I might be wrong, but I think that's the most points ever scored with a Kirby Smart team. I think that's right. Because I know for a fact they haven't even hit 50 in 2023 or 24. And I don't think before then, 16, 17, 18, and 19. I know for a fact in 2019 they didn't. And I don't believe they did anywhere else. If I missed a game, I apologize. But yeah, I don't remember a game that they hit more than 50 points up. So, or more, except for that LSU game. Oh, wait a minute. 63-3. And then 65-7. So yeah, in the national championship game. Sorry, my mind is just blown. I forgot about those games. 63-3 against Florida State, and then 65-7 against TCU. It proves that Kirby Smart and them teams can. That's why I don't understand why they do it. And you might say, well, it's Austin Peay. Do you really need? Yeah, you got to win every game by 60 or 70 points and look good, because that's what matters to the playoff committee is if you look good. If you win 9-6, they don't care. If you win 70-0, they'll be like, yes, that's what we wanted. I don't necessarily agree with that, because I take a Georgia Bulldogs win. If it was 3-2 and Georgia wins 60-yard field goal that hits both the uprights, that hits the bottom, that somehow magically falls in, I'll still take that any day of the week. But when you think of Georgia and Tennessee, you think of great moments. Obviously, Tennessee had that win streak in the 90s, so we don't talk about those. But I think that 2000, when the Georgia fans stormed the field, when they stormed the field and beat Tennessee for the first time. I think about 2000 and I think 2001, the Hobnail boot game. 2002, Georgia pretty much decimated Tennessee at Tennessee or at Athens, and then 2003. Georgia goes to Tennessee. That's the Sean Jones fumble play where they fumble it. Again, talking about fumbles at the 3 or 4 yard line. Fumbles the ball, then Georgia runs it back. My favorite thing about that shot, and somebody pointed out online, you can actually notice like 8 Georgia players in the camera frame at one point. So, I mean, that's incredible. And then they beat Georgia in 2004. Georgia beat them in 2005. 2006 Georgia-Tennessee game was one of the most craziest in the series. Georgia was up 20 at one point, and then unfortunately could not hang on. Georgia had 2 starting quarterbacks in that game. Joe Tarashinsky started, and then Matthew Stafford came in late, if I remember correct. They beat Georgia in 2007. Georgia beat them in 2008. They beat Georgia in 2009, then 2010, 11, 12, and 13. Georgia wins. 2012 was the one that both teams almost had combined 900 yards. 2013 was the Marshall Morgan game that Pig Howard fumbled in the end zone, which Tennessee fans for some reason will tell you that wasn't a fumble. It was a fumble. 2014 gets lost in those games because that was a not really a high-scoring game, but I mean, like for 40 points, but that was a good game. And of course, 2015, which we mentioned was the last time they beat us in Knoxville. That was the game Nick Chubb got hurt, and then once again Georgia was up 20 points or something, then blew it. 2016. There's a video of me. I don't know if it exists anymore. Of me literally almost having a panic attack on the floor, hyperventilating after Georgia scored their touchdown. I mean, I was just so beyond myself. Then unfortunately Tennessee hits theirs. That's the last Tennessee win in the series, ladies and gentlemen. Georgia beat them 41-0 in 2017. Beat them in 18. Beat them in 19. Eric Stokes with the hit, and then Trey Crowder ran it back for a touchdown. 2020, Georgia fumbles the literal first play of the first snap of the game into the end zone. Pretty much take care of the business after that. 2021 was a domination game. 2022, Tennessee was number 1 coming into Athens. Georgia beats them. 2023, Tennessee scores from the first play of the game, and then the fans thought they won the Super Bowl, but 40 minutes later, or 50 minutes later, pretty much, they're going home because Georgia wins that game, I think, 38-10 or something, 38-7, 38-10, somewhere in that area. Then last year, 2024, they were once again had high expectations to go into Athens and win, and didn't even look good, so they did not. All the Tennessee fans that I know, they're saying this is pretty much their best chance to beat Georgia under Josh Heupel. I don't disagree, but I mean, I've given you my reasons in this game. I mean, in this video, I think Georgia wins this game. It's quite frankly because the stats, the stats and history. Excuse me again. The stats and history are there for Georgia in this game. So I just don't see how Tennessee really wins this game. They may. Tennessee look really, really good. But until that Tennessee can actually prove they can beat Georgia, I don't see it happening. And real quick, we'll look at the rest of the SEC. Then we'll call it quits. Tennessee playing Georgia obviously is going to be the biggest game of the SEC slate. Shout out Mississippi State beating Arizona State over the weekend. Oklahoma plays Temple. Alabama plays Wisconsin, which, by the way, Alabama, I think everybody's overreacting at the Florida State game. Florida State ended up looking very, very good. Auburn plays South Alabama. Missouri plays Louisiana Lafayette. Texas plays UTEP. Mississippi State plays Alcorn State. Would that not be the most Mississippi State thing ever if they lose that game? That sounds like something they would. Ole Miss plays Arkansas. And here's a game you really hadn't even heard about. Number 3, LSU versus Florida. That should be a good game. LSU currently is favored by 7.5, though. Notre Dame, Texas A&M, Eastern Michigan, and Kentucky, and Vanderbilt, South Carolina. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 SEC teams playing non-conference games. Although I believe that there's games tonight. Yeah, Wake Forest and NC State. That game is tonight. Wake Forest. And the only time. Well, number one, let's say this real quick. Then I'll call it quits. Georgia social media team. Hey, I'm talking to you. If you can post AI, you can post Scott's Call of 1999 Wake Forest, man. I mean, good Lord. But with that out of the way, Georgia, Tennessee, 3:30, Saturday, 11:30 airtime on Georgia Bulldog Sports Network. We talked about it last week. The Braves are starting to wind down. The Dream will be winding down here in a little bit. The Hawks got to start. The Hawks play basketball game in less than 4 weeks. The Falcons did whatever that was on Sunday. And I'm already getting a message saying that, I'm wrong, that the Falcons are going to lose Sunday. And you know what? I don't care. I think they can win, but if whatever they decide to do, it depends on which Falcon team shows up pretty much. But hey, look too. I mean, I'll be here if Tennessee beats Georgia Saturday. To all my Tennessee friends, I'll be here and I'll have to sit here and take it, because obviously losing to Tennessee is not something Georgia fans. I've never experienced a Georgia loss. Well, I've been doing this since 2018. I have never had to talk about Georgia loss versus Tennessee in football, so keep that in your mind. Yeah, and I do mean what I said at the beginning, man. I thank God every day I get to do this. God knows how much this matters to me, so He has given me a platform to talk about it. So take a minute to pray, thank God for your day, and remember the people who were lost in 9/11. It was 24 years ago, right? 2001. You're going to be 24, so it's 24 years ago, yes. And go Dogs. God bless everybody. Go Dogs. And I'll talk to you tomorrow for Georgia soccer versus Texas A&M. If you might notice, the videos were a little off Saturday. I apologize. I didn't really have time to record any of the intros or the Classic Munson Call, which we pretty much know what the Classic Munson Call will probably be this week. It'll probably be 1973 or 2001, which is very exciting to hear. I would love to hear Scott's entire call of the 2012 Tennessee game. So, hey, if anybody ever sees this, if y'all got that 2012 game with Georgia and Tennessee, please post it. I'd love to hear it. A little self-plug there. But, yeah, man, God bless and go Dogs. And remember, live every day, dude, because you might not get a chance to do it again. You only live once. And I want my life to be remembered of what I'm doing right now. So I want to be remembered as, number one, a man of God, someone who loves his family, and then this right here, love the Georgia Bulldogs, because I do. It's my favorite thing in the world. There's nothing I love except for God more than God and family, pretty much. Well, I put all that in the same things, but you get what I mean. But yeah, go Dogs, and we will see you tomorrow for Georgia and Texas A&M in soccer.